What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So finally got a gimbal. So yeah, so I watched Saltburn the other day. Yeah. If you know, you know. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that at that. Thank you. Yeah, so that movie stars Barry Keoghan and the dude from Euphoria, and it's basically Harry Potter meets Euphoria meets Get Out. Yeah, this was a weird one for me, man. He plays this guy named Ollie who is a scholar at Oxford, right? And he's one of the top scholars there. Kind of a little bit of a weird guy. Doesn't really make too much friends. He sees all the popular people and wants to be part of that, right? You kind of see his like secret want, like, dang, I want to be part of that group. He gets befriended by Felix, who is the dude from Euphoria. I don't really know his name. But yeah, so they become friends, right? And he's like, hey, man, you should come with me to Saltburn, which, you know, sequentially is the name of his castle that he owns and his family. And, you know, he's kind of reluctant. He's like, I don't know, like, you know. And then Ollie just kind of, like, starts falling into, like, this kind of weird little rhythm of things, right? So he tells him, like, he had a traumatic event. And, you know, I'm trying not to spoil too much of it. But that's when they're, you know, he's like, no, man, you need to take some time off. Let's go. And so they end up going to Saltburn, and they're having time of their life. You know, they're swimming, they got butlers, they got all this stuff, like big, extravagant socialite parties, right? Yeah, then it gets weird. He starts forming some kind of like attraction towards Felix, which, I mean, that's cool. Not against that. It's the fact that Felix was relieving himself in the tub and then like leaves, and he's like, all right, man, see ya. And they kind of walk, you know, he's like there and it's like awkward. And then the dude starts slurping up the water, slurping up everything that's inside the water, like
what?
Like a Kool-Aid jammer, right? Like, bro. Then, you know, they end up having a party, and then like his parents are involved in it, and they're like, oh, how long are you gonna be staying? He's like, oh, I don't know, just a couple, you know, maybe months. It kind of went on for a good while, unless that was really long summer. I didn't really get that too much from the time frame. It really doesn't say. So they end up like he becomes a socialite. Barry essentially becomes a socialite. And so Felix's sister and the other brother or friend, that was still confusing. He was like, hey, this guy's doing this, like this guy's doing that, spreading lies, right? You know, socialites, they're trying to always like one up each other. But then you start seeing that Ollie is weaving some kind of web. He's playing the game. He's playing their game. Starts doing, you know, messing around with one guy. He's messing with Felix. He's like, nah, man, we're cool, we're friends. He ends up like messing with the sister, and then slowly starts getting rid of them, right? And so this whole time he's like, you know, hey, you know, it was just me and Felix is like, hey, man, that's not cool, I thought we were friends. And they're like, I like you better than last year's guy. And I was like, last year's guy? So this is like a get out situation? Cool. So, you know, Felix ends up dying. And then at the, you know, he's so in love with him. He says in the beginning, I was in love with him, but I was in love with him. And then he starts having fun with the grave.
What did he say?
You know, fun. And so I was like, oh, this is a little, okay. And then, you know, the family's still grieving and stuff like that. And then the sister's like, you're just using us for our money. You know, you just want to use us against each other. And I see what you're doing. I see the webs that you're pulling. And, you know, she was right. She was on to him, right? So then next morning, the sister gets, you know, the other brother, you know, he frames him, and they're like, no, get out of the house. You're disowned and this and that. And I was like, okay, cool. They're just going to get rid of that guy. And then the dad was like, hey, look, I understand there was something going on between you and my wife, and that needs to cease. She needs time to grieve. It's been a long process. How much to get rid of you? And he was like, look, no, I think I should stay. And he's like, okay, how much? And it doesn't really discourse like how or what they worked out, but some time goes on, you see that the dad had also passed, and then the mom sees him. She's like, oh, Ollie, you've grown up and this and that, and like, oh, why don't you come to Saltburn? Come back home with me. You know, the coast is clear anyway, right? And he was like, you're right. And obviously some time had passed, you know, Ollie gets a little older. And then so like he's the whole time he's been narrating, it shows that he's there smoking a cigarette, and the wife is like in an incubator.
And the plot thickens!
She's in an incubator the whole time, and he was like, I never liked any of you. I wanted y'all dead. And so he reveals, which I thought was the biggest plot twist. He reveals to be not like a serial killer, but like something is obviously going on up there. And so he ends up like, you know, showing that he set everything in motion. He became friends with Felix. He was the one that set things in motion to become friends with Felix, to get himself to Saltburn. Kills Felix, and then kills the sister. You know, got rid of the other brother by planning things. It didn't really say if he had anything to do with the father. I didn't see that part. But definitely with the mother, he just pulls the incubator out, the tube out of her throat, and just watched her die. And he was like, it's my castle now. Like, he was able to write himself into the will and was like, it's my castle now. And then the craziest thing, this dude, homie, starts dancing in the castle, butt-ass naked, right? Because it's his castle now. Like, he's won. You know, who's going to do anything, right? So he starts killing the dance floor. And let me tell you, that song has been stuck in my head for 3 days. It's been 3 days since I've seen this, and I've been meaning to do the review, and I can't get my mind around everything of that movie. It was really good. I mean, I'll tell you that. But it was really, like, off-putting. But it definitely made an impression. I can see why it was a well-rated movie and a lot of people enjoyed it. It was definitely, that was a way to end 2023. I'll just say that. But you know, but yeah, man. I mean, it was a weird one. If you like thrillers, it's not so much a horror movie, but if you like thrillers and kind of like romance and stuff like that, like, oh, who done it? And then like when you start figuring out, like, oh shit, it was this dude. Yeah, it was a good one. You know, I'd say I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10, right? Just because a lot of it, it's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think. It's on Amazon Prime, so it's free. It was also in the theaters. But yeah, man, I just think this was interesting. So if people were like, hey man, what's a good movie to watch? And you want to ruin their night, this one right here, man. All right, so you know, let's chat about it. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you liked it or not, man. I don't care. It's, you know, that's our opinion, baby. Let's this one was a weird one, man. So hope you guys enjoy. Have a good night.
It's murder on the dance floor. You better not kill the groove, DJ.